Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind. I hope I am properly audible and visible. Good evening. Sharing the pocket diary idea. Okay, I am happy that it's helpful for you, and I hope you keep on continuing with this till you get the success, till you get selected in this examination. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Khan Global Studies, and we are going to start with our daily current affairs session. Last day, I have given you one question for mains answer writing. So today, we are going to start with that question, and then we are going to discuss also about some of the current affair topics. Okay. So the topics which we are going to discuss today, the first topic is going to be about sea surface temperature. The first topic is going to be about sea surface temperature. The second topic is going to be about fertilizer subsidy. That what is the condition of fertilizer subsidy in India? What are the challenges due to it? We are going to see that part. The third thing which we are going to see is emission reduction goal and diaspora diplomacy. So this is one topic which is related to mains. This is something which is related to mains. And all other things which are there, they have somewhat relevance to the prelims also and somewhat relevance to the mains also. So, good evening and welcome to the session. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. So, I hope now I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. So, let's start. Let's start first with the question which I have provided to you last day. Now, tell me one thing. How many of you have written this answer? How many of you have written this answer? Compare the mechanism and frequency of cyclone formation in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So how many of you have written the answer for this one question? See, this week we are going to practice the question. Today also I will give you one mains question. So this week we are going to focus on mains answer writing. In the previous weeks, we have covered, in fact, the previous current affairs revision also. We have been revising so many questions in the previous weeks. Now, in this week, we are going to focus on the mains writing part. So, tell me this one thing. How many of you have written this answer? The mechanism and frequency of cyclone in Arabian Sea and this Bay of Bengal. Have you written it or not? Solution nahi mila. Okay. Disha, have you written the answer? I think you have completed your foundation course. Kal absent the. Achha, Ranjit has written. Kal aap absent the. Okay, no problem. So let's see this question once. But today everyone is present and I have recorded that thing. Anjali, have you written? Like, so Anjali, you may not have completed the geography portion yet. But let's see. Compare the mechanism and frequency of cyclone formation in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So when you have to start the introduction, now I am giving you a hint. I am giving you one such hint. Like I will give you the broader outline of this question and then you have to write it again. Those who have not written, you have to write it again. But I am giving you a broader outline of the question. Now, if you look at this, In introduction, what you can do, this is a technical subject. Geography is one such technical subject, geography, science and others. So in that case, you can also start with explaining the term. You can also start with explaining the key term. Like here we have the tropical cyclone. So here you can explain the mechanism or explain about tropical cyclone. Explain about tropical cyclone. So this is one of the option. This is one of the option of writing the introduction. Second thing is, you can also add the current context. You can also add the current context. Like if you want, this is option number A, this is option number B. There is also an option number C. Option number C is you can just compare the number of cyclones coming over the Bay of Bengal area and also forming over the Arabian Sea. So you can give a comparison figure of cyclone, over Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So you have three options of writing the introduction. You can choose any one of them. You can either start with this, what is actually a tropical cyclone, or you can add the current context about cyclone Mantha, or you can also go for comparison figure of cyclone over Bay of Bengal or Arabian Sea. So this is first part, what you can write in the introduction. Now second thing, you have to compare the mechanism of formation of cyclone in Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. So basically you have to show the difference. First, what you will do, first heading, mechanism of cyclone formation. First part is mechanism of cyclone formation. So there you can mention the common elements. Like sea surface temperature. You can mention about the vertical wind shear. You can mention about the development of low pressure, high pressure. So this is one part. This you have to explain the cyclone formation process. So here you will use the process. You can even use flow chart. This is one part where you can use flow chart to explain this. You can make use of flow chart to explain this cyclone formation process. So that is the second part of the answer. First part of answer was this one. This is the second part of answer. Third part of answer would be this, that now you have to compare between Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Okay. So then you have to give comparison of Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. You can compare the frequency. You can compare the capacity or power or intensity of cyclone. You can discuss the factors behind it. Okay. That what are the factors responsible behind it. So you can mention all these things, that where we are having more cyclones, where we are having lesser cyclones. In which areas the cyclones are having more and more destructive power, in which area it is having less destructive power. You can mention the factors responsible for it, that what leads to the very intense cyclone in Bay of Bengal and what leads to the lesser number of cyclones in Arabian Sea. Then you can also mention how it impacts India. You can also mention about how it impacts India. So this is another part, like its impact on India. So this is the third part of answer. Now, the fourth part, that is your conclusion. The fourth part is the conclusion factor. The conclusion factor. Now, in this conclusion portion, what you can do is, like if you want, you can connect it with the early warning system and preparedness for cyclone. If you want to see this, you can mention about the early warning system. You can mention about the early warning system and preparedness for cyclone. You can mention that India has developed a very state of art early warning system for cyclones, as well as continuous monitoring of cyclone formation over Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea, which has helped in reducing the impact of cyclones on human lives and livelihood. So this is one part which you can give in conclusion. Now here you have one more thing. If you want, you can also make a map and you can show in this area. You can also make a map. Suppose you have to give the comparison. So when you are writing the comparison, you can make a map like this, that this is the portion of Arabian Sea and this is the portion of Bay of Bengal. Here you can see, here you can write like this, comparison, and then on this side Arabian Sea, this side Bay of Bengal. So you can add this element also. If you want, you can make a map and you can use that map to show how it is different in Arabian Sea, how it is different in the Bay of Bengal. So this is one representation part which you have to work on. This is one of the representation part. See how you are showing your answer. So this is first part. I am unable to understand any difference, as in my view all tropical cyclones are same. Yes, like you will see one thing, Sanjana. See, you will see this one thing, like almost everything is same. When we compare the Arabian Sea versus the Bay of Bengal, what is the impact? First thing is, in Arabian Sea, we see that the sea surface temperature are not that much high. In case of Bay of Bengal, it is surrounded by land masses on all sides, so having higher sea surface temperature. Second thing, in case of Arabian Sea, the northeast trade winds are drifting it away from India. In case of Bay of Bengal, it is bringing it towards India. In case of Arabian Sea, we see that the frequency of cyclone formation is quite on the lower side. In case of Bay of Bengal, it is on the higher side. So this is the comparison part. Of course, both of them are cyclones only. In case of Bay of Bengal, we see that there are some additional factors. For example, they are getting help from South China Sea and Pacific Ocean. In case of Arab area, in case of the Arabian Sea, there is no such benefit for the cyclone. So this is one thing where you can compare. So that's why we are doing this one thing, that we are first writing the mechanism. Third part is we are doing the comparison. Why temperature difference? There is one factor. If you look at the Bay of Bengal, you will find that it is almost surrounded by the land masses. It is surrounded by the land masses. When you look at the Arabian Sea, land masses are quite far away from it. Land masses are quite far away from it. You have Africa like several miles away from it. And in case of Bay of Bengal, it is surrounded by the Southeast Asian countries also, by Andaman and Nicobar also, and plus the Indian landmass also. It is almost surrounded like this. In case of Arabian Sea, it is much more broader. I hope that is clear. %95 same. So if 95% is same, then it's quite good. So you have to write it again. Those who have not written, you have to write it again. So let's start with our topic. The first topic is again related to the same thing. It is related with the same thing. Sea surface temperature, it is leading to the more cyclones. Now here we are having a number of cyclones which has caused an impact in the case of Andhra Pradesh. We have this one cyclone, Phylline. It was there in 2013. Then Helen was there, Hudhud was there. Then we have Titli, and then we have Mishong. Okay. So Titli, you can see its speed was 190 km/h. In case of Phylline, it was 260 km/h. So Phylline and Titli, they were quite severe cyclones. Phylline was in fact extremely severe cyclone which has hit Andhra Pradesh. So they are some of the very much powerful, cyclones that have hit Andhra Pradesh in the last 15 years. Okay. So these two cyclones were there in 2013, then 14, then 18, then 2023. And now we have the cyclone Montha, which has come here in 2025. Okay. So this is one part. Last day, I have also told you this part, that I will show you the names of the cyclones which are there. You can see these are the 13 countries. These are the 13 countries which are providing the names. They are providing the names. And right now we can see that this is the name which has been taken up, Montha. So it has started with Nisarg, Gati, and all these names have already been taken up. These names have already been taken up now. The next cyclone is going to be called as Senyar. Then it will be called as Ditwa. And then again these names will come up. Okay. So these are the names. Like in total 169 names. 169 names has been provided by these countries. Okay. Here we are having 7 names by each country. 6 more has been provided by each country. So all 13 countries have provided 13 names each. So in total 169 names are there, out of which the cyclones are going to be named one after another. So right now we are just here. There is so much name which is still decided that what will be the name of next cyclone. So next cyclone names are already decided here. You can see 5 columns are still here. So it is around 65 names here plus 2, 67 plus like 78 more. So we have got around near about 150 names, remaining of the upcoming cyclones. So these are the names provided by the countries. Each country is providing their own name. Okay. So this is one part. So here if we look at this, in the case of rising sea surface temperature, what we are seeing that there is an increase of 0.5 to 1 degree Celsius. That is the rise in temperature. That is rise in temperature of Bay of Bengal. In Bay of Bengal, the temperature has increased by 0.5 to 1 degree Celsius. And that's why what we see that there is more and more frequent cyclones coming up in the Bay of Bengal region. The first thing which we have to see is the name of the cyclones which have come in past. Second thing which we have seen is what are the names which have been provided by the countries for the upcoming cyclones. So this is only one part which we have to know. These are the 13 countries which are providing the names. Bangladesh, India, Iran, Maldives, Myanmar, Oman, Pakistan, then Qatar, Saudi, Sri Lanka, Thailand, UAE, and Yemen. So these countries are sharing the borders with Indian Ocean region. They are giving the names of the cyclones in this area in Indian Ocean region. As my geography is not completed, okay, going overhead. Again, no problem. Like if geography is not complete, then I can understand that it is going to be a little bit challenging. But don't worry. It's not very much crucial that we have to remember all these names. I'm just discussing it as part of our current affair discussion. Later on also you can revise it. Now, coming to the second article, fertilizer subsidy. Can you tell me one thing? When we are talking about subsidy in India, which sector receives the highest amount of subsidy? The highest amount of subsidy is provided on what? The highest amount of subsidy is given to which segment? एग्रीकल्चर, इतना एफर्ट नेम बनाने में नहीं, it's not like we are just having the name of cyclones. You will find that like there has been a focus on even like improving it. There has been a focus on improving the cyclone preparedness also. You will find that as compared to 90s, as compared to 2000, we are now having better management of cyclone. Fertilizer, industry, secondary sector. See, if we talk about subsidy, there are three main subsidy in India. The highest amount of subsidy is going towards food. Then it goes towards fertilizer, and then it goes towards fuel. Food, fertilizer and fuel, they are called as 3F. They are called as the 3F of subsidy. They are called as the 3F of subsidy. So here you can see that food is having subsidy which is almost continuously increasing. In case of 2020-21, the time when we were having COVID, you can see that the subsidy during the COVID time was 5,41,330 crore rupees. This is in crores. So it is 5,41,330 crore rupees. That was the subsidy on food items during the COVID times. Right now, in the latest budget estimate, it is about 2,05,250 crore rupees. So near about 2 lakh crore rupees, or in this case, we have near about 2.5 lakh crore. This is the amount of subsidy on the food items. In case of fertilizer, you can see that it has increased during the times of COVID. It kept on increasing. The highest amount was there during 2022 when it reached 2,51,339 crore. Now it has started to come down and the estimate is around 1.63 lakh crore. Then at the same time, the fuel subsidy, it was very much high during 2014. In 2014, the fuel subsidy was quite higher, 60,000 crore rupees. Now it has come down to 11,925. So fuel subsidy is almost over 11,925 crore rupees only. Okay. So that is the subsidy on the fuel. It has been continuously decreasing, and in fact you will see that it has come down to 2,257 crore only in 2023. Okay. But this was like a smaller budget portion, so it has come down to 2,257. So we see that the subsidy on the fuel has also been decreasing, almost decreasing. So this is one part. The three items which are having the most amount of subsidy in India is food, fertilizer and fuel. Fuel is now negligible, but food and fertilizer are still on the higher side. Now, here we are going to talk about fertilizer subsidy. Fertilizer. The ideal ratio of fertilizer, can you tell me? You all may have read a little bit about it. What is the ideal ratio? What was the ideal ratio? Okay, I will come to your question, aspirant. Then Arshad also, I will come to your question. UPSC wala time, I will come to your question, but first tell me this. Okay. Barish. Okay. So tell me this part first. What is the ideal ratio of NPK? Ideal ratio of NPK. What is the ideal ratio of NPK in case of India? What is the ideal ratio of NPK? 4:2:1. Okay. It is 4:2:1. The ideal ratio of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium or potash is 4:2:1. In the Kharif season of 2024, Kharif 2024, can you guess what is the NPK ratio actually during this Kharif 2024? What is the actual ratio? What is the actual ratio of Kharif 2024? What is the actual ratio? When we talk about the ideal ratio, this is 4:2:1. But when we talk about the actual ratio, it is 9.8 is to 3.7 to 1. So you can clearly understand this is not use of fertilizer. This is not excess use. If we call this that it is excess use of fertilizer, it will be wrong. It will be simply called as abuse of fertilizer. This will be simply called as abuse of fertilizers. So this is one part. We are not using fertilizer in excess amount. If we look at this right now, for the Kharif season of 2024, the actual ratio of the fertilizer was 9.8 is to 3.7 to 1. So here we see that the actual use of fertilizer is way higher. It is way higher than the prescribed limit. The ideal ratio is 4:2:1. But we are doing it almost twice as much higher. In case of nitrogen, we are going for 2.5 times. In case of phosphorus, we are going for 2 times almost. So this is like not like we can at least say 1.85 times. It is 1.85 times higher, and this one is 2.5 times approximately higher. That is the abuse of fertilizer which we see here in case of India. And why we are having it? What is the reason behind it? Factors: huge subsidy, declining productivity, lack of awareness among farmers, Okay. Then we see that over dependence on wheat and paddy. So there is a vicious cycle. You can see this one form, okay, that we are having wheat paddy cultivation. This is leading to degradation of fertility. Then we see that there is abuse of fertilizer. And we keep on continuing with wheat and paddy. We keep on continuing with wheat and paddy. So there is this vicious cycle. There is this vicious cycle. We keep on going for this loop, that we are just going for cultivation of wheat and paddy, wheat and paddy. There is degradation in soil. We try to have more and more. So lower production and over cultivation. Lower production and over cultivation. This is leading to degradation of fertility of soil. We add more fertilizer. More fertilizer again lead to lower production. Then we keep on adding the same thing. So this loop is going on, and as a result of that, there is so many negative impact on environment also. When we are having abuse of fertilizer, to see this, when there is deficiency, so here we see that it can lead to the lower yields. It can also lead to crop failure. You can lead to less nutrients. Okay. So when there is low amount, when there is low fertilizer, then also what we see that we are getting lower nutrients, low yield, food security challenge, and so on. Okay. But when we are having more and more nutrients, there we see that crops become more prone to disease, crop failure, greenhouse gas emission. So more proneness to disease, over fertilizer. When we are having over fertilizer, then we see that more prone to disease, greenhouse gas emission. Here also we see that crop failure, loss of soil productivity, soil fertility. So these are the challenges which we see here in case of fertilizer, the excess fertilizer use. But anyway, we keep on continuing with higher and higher amount of fertilizer subsidy. The problem is that agriculture is such a sensitive topic in India. Agriculture is such a sensitive topic in India that no one is trying to reform the agriculture. No one is trying to reform the agriculture. And even if there is an attempt of reforming the agriculture, it is done in a half-hearted manner. So no such real reform is taking place in agriculture. India remains, see this irony, that India remains the top producer of major crops like wheat, paddy, sugarcane, milk, egg, poultry and everything. India remains the major producer of fruits and vegetables also. India is the major producer of fruit and vegetable also. So India remains in at least top 10 in most of the products. India remains in the top 10 in most of the products. In terms of spices also, in terms of potatoes also, in terms of many other things. In terms of edible oil also, we are among the top producers. In case of pulses also, we are among the top producers. So this is the great irony of Indian agriculture. India continues to remain one of the largest producer of the staple crops, of the pulses, of the edible oils, of the spices, of the fruits, vegetables, milk, poultry, everything. Despite this part, Indian farmers are not rich. Indian farmers are rather committing suicide, which we have seen in our previous classes also. At the same time, India is also suffering from the double burden of malnutrition. Okay. So there is one side story of it, that India is the top producer of most of the crops, even poultry, even fisheries, and many other things. And on the other side, the farmers are not happy, the farmers are in the poverty stage, and people are also not having the proper nutrients. Okay. And consumer is also not happy. Yes, consumer is also not happy that the food prices are getting higher and higher and higher. So who is actually happy from the agriculture? So this is one part. Like, if we talk about Indian agriculture, there is so much challenges. Importer also, we are one of the largest exporters also, importers also, producer also, and despite this, no one is happy. So that is, in fact, we are one of the largest food wasting country also. We also waste a huge amount of food items. So that is the challenge with India. Now, the third part, emission reduction goal. Yes, no need of taking any name. Now, coming to this part, so this 1 week which we are starting with, the 1st of November, when we will start with the November, there will be COP30 in Belém in Brazil. Now, this year in COP30, there is going to be updation of NDC. There is going to be updation of NDC. NDC stands for Nationally Determined Contribution. Nationally Determined Contribution. So right now what we see that, like, overall across the world, we see that 64 out of 190 countries, 64 out of 190 countries, they have submitted updated NDC. They have submitted the updated NDCs. Means they have already submitted it. India has not submitted it yet. India has not submitted this yet. We are still finalizing our updated NDC. We have not submitted it yet. So on the basis of this, it has been said that, like, on the basis of this updated NDC, only around 17% emission is going to be reduced by 2035. So only 17% emission as compared to 2019 will reduce by 2035. Like, on the basis of the NDC which has been submitted, many countries are still to submit it. Near about 130 plus countries, are still to submit their NDC. But it has been seen that out of these NDCs which have been submitted till date, there is a chance that there will be only 17% reduction in the emission. What is the requirement? Like, how much we require? How much we require? How much is the requirement? The requirement is like this. If you want temperature to be 1.5 degrees Celsius, reduction should be 57%. If you want 2 degrees Celsius, then reduction should be 37%. Okay. So by the current trend, we have reached only 17%. We have reached only 17%. Many countries are still to submit their NDCs. But on the current basis, only 17% emission will be reduced by 2035 if all the countries fulfill their targets. Okay. And the requirement is 37% if you want a 2 degrees Celsius increase in temperature. If we want to keep it within 1.5 degrees Celsius, the requirement is 57%. So in the upcoming days, we will see many such articles with respect to this Bellum COP30. So we will see many such articles in upcoming days. We will revise even the previous COPs also. This will become one of the most important topic for your environment prelims as well as next year mains exam. So COP30, remember this one part, COP30 is one of the highly probable topics for your mains examination in 2026. So this will remain one of the very important topic for 2026 mains exam. So whatever goes on, whatever articles you see in the next 15 days, mug it up all. So let's see the one last article. Okay. You know about the Panchamrits of India and everything. I will ask you tomorrow. Teachers are allowed. See, what do you want? Where do you want to see me? In the YouTube or somewhere else? Teachers are allowed. You know what has happened with many people. Where do you want to see me? Now, coming to this one portion, diaspora. Why less percent for 2 degree? Means if you want to contain it within 1.5, you have to reduce more and more emission. Okay. If we want to contain it, if we want to contain the temperature rise by just 1.5 degrees Celsius, we will have to reduce more emission. But if we want that, okay, let's do 2 degrees Celsius will also be fine, then we still have to reduce it by 37%. Means just to give an example, suppose right now the temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. 14 degrees Celsius was pre-industrial level. So right now, if we remove 57% reduction, it will go up to 15.5. If we go for 37% reduction, then it will reach 16 degrees Celsius. Then it will reach 16 degrees Celsius. If we want same temperature, that is not possible. In short, that is not possible. You have to reduce all the emissions right now. If you want to have the same temperature, you have to reduce all the emissions, 100% emission reduction. Plus absorb some carbon from the atmosphere. Absorb some more amount of carbon from the atmosphere. So that is one thing which we will have to do. Like you have to stop all the emissions starting now. That is not even possible. Like all the internet and everything, you have to shut it down immediately. Most of the things are running on electricity coming from thermal power plants. So no YouTube classes. Okay. So now we are having this one topic, diaspora diplomacy. If we talk about Indian diaspora, there is like 35 million. That is the approximate size of Indian diaspora. Many of them are concentrated in US, Canada, Australia, UAE, and so on. So these are some of the major countries where we are having the Indian diaspora, the Indian people. Diaspora means the persons of Indian origin, or the non-resident Indians. So there are two categories here. One is the NRIs, non-resident Indians. Basically, they are the citizens of India, but they have gone for some employment or some education. And then there is person of Indian origin, PIOs. Now they are basically like having roots in India. They are basically having roots in India, but no citizenship. They are not having any such citizenship. So now what we see that this diaspora, if we talk about its qualities, okay, it is one of the most effective, one of the most wealthy, influencing diaspora. It is one of the most influencing and wealthy diaspora. If you look at the Indian diaspora, you can see across the globe in major countries, in major political parties, in major political groups, you will find someone from Indian diaspora. That is the strength of Indian diaspora, that it is there in almost all the major countries. In almost all the major countries, it is having a considerable presence. It is having political, social and economic power. Political, social and economic power. It is having this political, social and economic power. Okay. So if you look at this, it is quite influential group. It is very much powerful. It is quite much influential group. Okay. Now what we see that, like, this is something, this diaspora, it has been quite helpful for India in some of the previous instances. Okay. So like, it has been sending remittances. India is the highest receiver of remittances in the entire world. India has got the highest amount of remittances in the entire world. Okay. So highest amount. It is sending the highest amount of remittances in the world. In fact, it is also seen as a major source of FDI. A major source of FDI, foreign direct investment, or even foreign currency. Foreign currency. It is a major source of foreign currency. Okay. So this is one part. This is one part what we see that Indian diaspora is a very effective, very powerful group outside India. It is having a considerable presence. Okay. So it has been helpful for India also in the past, in 2004 also, and in previous instances also. Now what is the new trend? What is the new trend? The new trend is this, that Indian diaspora, it has become vocal. It has become vocal in the present times. It is one of the most powerful groups. So it has become quite much vocal in the present times. For a long period of time, we were going under that notion that Europeans are superior and this we are having job here, so it's quite good and all. So we were obliged earlier. We were like feeling so much obliged that Europeans are letting us stay in Europe, or Americans are letting us stay in America. So that's quite good for us. So there was a time when Indian diaspora was having this feeling that, okay, once we have reached Canada or US or Australia, that's dream come true for us. Now we don't have to return back. Now we don't have to behave as Indian. We are not Indians anymore. Now we are going to behave like foreigners, or we are going to behave like US citizens or Australian citizens or anything else. So earlier they were not so much vocal, but now they have become quite much vocal. Why? The change in the Indian geopolitics, the relevance of India in the present times. Now India is not just any other country in the world. It is one of the most powerful country in the world. It is having the third largest economy in the world. So on this angle, now the diaspora, it has also become vocal. Then we see that there is a cultural exhibitionism. There is a culture exhibitionism that we see in case of India. You may have seen that there is now celebrations of Diwali, Holi, and others. So now we are having celebrations of Diwali, Holi, and other festivals. And like we are in India and we have firecrackers at any place, at any area. In same manner, now Indian diaspora is also doing one thing. They are also throwing firecrackers anywhere. They are using firecrackers without any warning at any place, any region, at any point of time. It has led to some recent incidences of fire and damage in US also. There have been recent incidences of fire and damage in US also. Then we see that the Westerners or the Western countries, they are perceiving over influence of Indian diaspora. So Indian diaspora, which was more like sweet and all, has suddenly become very much challenging for them. They are now thinking that they are remaining loyal to India, they are citizens here, but their loyalty is not here. So their loyalty is under question. Okay. There was an image of peaceful promoters of culture. India was seen as a soft power. India was seen as a soft power. Earlier also Diwali was being celebrated. Diwali in US has been celebrated for a very long period of time. In many other countries also, Diwali and other festivals are being celebrated for a very long period of time. But now what we see that, now it is no longer like just that there is celebration of Deepavali in a peaceful manner. Now they are thinking that it is the same Delhi NCR location where we can have some firecrackers in our vehicles. We can drive the vehicles on a highway and from there the firecrackers will be coming out. So they have understood New York and other places also, same as Delhi NCR, where you can have firecrackers in whatever manner which you want. Okay. So this image of diaspora, the peaceful image, this one is changing. This one is changing. Now, so that's why I'm giving you this one question. Okay. I am giving you this one question, that what should be the policy of India? Now you can see this one thing also, that Indian leaders have also been quite much actively engaging with diaspora outside India. Indian leaders have in fact been engaging with diaspora in a very much sound manner, in very much profound manner in the recent times. So this is one thing. Now I am giving you one question. Discuss the significance or discuss the role of Indian diaspora in influencing India's relation with other countries. So this is one question for you in 150 words, that discuss the role of Indian diaspora in influencing India's relation with other countries. Video available hai kya? Oh, sorry, I could not discuss kafala system. Okay, tomorrow in the first part itself, I will discuss kafala system. It's 5:55 already. So today we are not discussing it, but tomorrow we will discuss that. Okay. So this is one question for you for today. Tomorrow I will discuss the kafala system also, and if you have any other question, you can put it there. I will answer that tomorrow. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Take care and all the best. Write this answer and then we will discuss that. Yes, UPSC wala time. I will discuss your question in tomorrow's session. In the first part itself, just mention it once in the comment box. Just mention it once in the comment box. So tomorrow in the beginning of the class itself, I will take some queries first and then I will take the topics. The notes will be uploaded there in Telegram channel. Okay. Thank you so much. Take care and all the best. Yes, Neelu, whatever your request is, please put it once in the comment box. I will answer that. Okay. Thank you.